Hi everyone, and thank you for joining me. This is a little how-to on using a new product that we recently launched called felting templates. Although these are specifically designed for felting, they have many uses with other crafts. However, these are not food or dishwasher safe. So firstly, some of you will probably be asking, what's so special about these? Why not just carry on using cookie cutters? The first thing is that cookie cutters can sometimes have those horrible lips and edges which can cause your needles to break. The walls of the felting templates are 2 millimeters thick, which does make them very, very strong. They're also very safe and good for kids to use. They give them something to really hold on to. Also, if you've used cookie cutters before in the past, you may have noticed that some shapes, they just don't quite work. This is mainly down to how the wool acts. It doesn't hold its shape like cookie dough, so a holly leaf, for example, can come out looking more like a holly blob. All of the templates that I make have been tried and tested to ensure that they do give you the best possible base shape for felting. This is the Steampunk #1 set. And with this set, you get a top hat, a moustache, a bow tie, and a cog. I've got a few examples over here of how these have been used, including incorporating other crafts. Here we've got one made from commercial felt fabric, which has been blanket stitched. Then we've got a couple of little eyelets in the top, and it's created a nice little pocket maybe for lavender scented sachets, or you could put some sandalwood in there and hang it to keep those pesky moths away from your wall. This top hat, this top hat has been felted quite thinly, and this can be used as a card topper, for example, so you can incorporate it into paper crafting. All the templates are 15 millimeters high. Obviously, you don't have to felt to the full height of the template, but they are that height so that you've got some depth to it, so you can really get some dimension on some of your projects. A few of these here we've got decorated as Christmas ornaments for hanging on a tree. There literally are so many ways that you can use these, and I'm going to be putting some project sheets and ideas on the website mumsmakery.co.uk, so pop over and have a look. I've got a little sneak peek for you of the next template set that I'm working on, and this is the baubles and balloons set, which will be very apt for Christmas, and a little sneak peek of a thing that I've made, and you can see you can get some real dimension using the templates. I've no idea what this is going to be, maybe a Christmas decoration or maybe hang it off of a mobile or something, but little sneak peek of something that's going to be coming in the next few days. Finally, do pop over to the Mums Makery Facebook page, Instagram or Twitter, and follow us on your favourite social media. All the new launches, tutorials and giveaways will be announced on there. Now let's grab some supplies and get on to the fun part. Tools and equipment. All you're really going to need for this is your felting surface, a felting needle, and I'm using a 40 spiral. You're going to need your fibre. This is a lovely New Zealand Carded Batt, which will be available soon in my Etsy store in a range of colours. You're going to need the felting template of your choice and a selection of things to decorate and or finish whatever it is you're going to make. I mean, this is really going to be dependent on your vision for your end item. You could be making a mobile, you could be making a brooch, you could be making something to hang on a tree. It really does depend on what you're going to do with it. I'm going to be making the bow tie today, and I'm going to be using this purple colour. This is a very interesting shape because it can do a few different things. As you can see, we've got a bow tie here, but a little bit of adjustment and it could be a giant size sweetie wrapper. And there's also a way that you can take this and turn it into a little creature, so I'm going to show you that as well. To get started, grab your fibre, and I do find that it is best to use a short fibre bat, because the long fibres can be inherently a lot more difficult to felt in and get flat. There are lots of different ways to do this. There is no right or wrong way. But grab some of your fibre and stuff it into your template. Grab your needle and start gently laying the fibres down and felting them. And don't stab too hard, because it will inherently stick to your surface. So if you are driving it in, you're going to push all of these fibres out and you're just going to end up with a mess on your felting surface. So nice and lightly, we're just getting the thing filled up. And with that in mind, you don't have to fill it to the brim. Think about what you're going to use it for at the end. You may want something that's actually quite thin. I'll put some in this side. And we're just lightly working it over. Bring it in. And the nice thing about these templates is because they do have that smooth, flush edge, is you can go all the way around and get those fibres really tucked into the corners. Foam is inherently the noisiest surface. There we go. So we've got a first, and it is a little bit stuck to the bottom, so I'm just going to lift it up. And it's not a problem, you know, if it comes out, just pop it back down, stuff it back in, and work it. And you want to create a nice sort of even layer. That's what you're aiming for. There we go. I'm going to be doing this quick and crude in the hope that this tutorial won't be epically long like some of my others have been. You can of course use a multi-tool. I find a single needle works better for me, a little bit more refinement and control, but you can obviously use a multi-tool. So that's a first pass. We're a bit thin in the middle here, so I'm going to pull off a little bit more. Put it in the middle. The nice thing particularly about this carded bat that I use is that it does blend beautifully into itself. So I'm doing this all one colour, but obviously you could do a different colour centre. Or you can lay on different colours and designs. I've actually made one of these that fits on my dog's collar, so he does have a little bow tie. So there we go, that's the first kind of pass. And as you can see, you've got a good shape, but it is stuck to my surface a little bit, so I'm going to pull it up, put it back in. Then I'm going to flip the whole thing over and work the other side. You want to come at it from both sides. Do make sure that you keep your needle very vertical when using the templates. That's probably something to point out. Any kind of angle when using these, you know, can result in you hitting your surface, the edge of your template, and may break your needle. So very vertical needle, light little stabs all over the surface. You're not driving into your felting surface too much. And then just go around the edges. There we go. So pick that up again. You can see we're starting to get that shape. Put it back in, turn it over. And this is how we create the shape. I mean, obviously, the longer you spend on this, the more refined it will be, the more polished it will be. You can make it whatever thickness you like, but you just keep going with it. It's something that's very easy for kids to use. It's quick enough so it can hold their attention. And then obviously you get the fun part of decorating it all at the end. So let's see how we're getting on. It's crude, but you can see how that's coming along. Take the edges will probably need a little work when they come out, just to tap it in. This is where a short fibre will really be a friend to you. But you can see the principle there. We've got a bow tie. I'm just going to pop it in. Go over it some more. And you just keep going until you're happy with it. Okay, so I'm going to do some tidying up and polishing of the edges, and just felt this a little firmer off of camera so you don't have to sit through all of that. And then I'll come back when we're ready to sort of enhance the features and make it into something a little bit different. So I've spent a few minutes just refining the shape. So we've got a nice defined bow tie, and I've grabbed a lovely complementary colour which I'm going to use to put some features and stuff onto this bow tie. You can use it as is. This is quite a thin make. You can go right up to the full 15mm height. This is quite thin because I want to turn this into something a little different, and I'm going to show you how to do that in just a moment. This one has probably got 1.5 grams of wool in, so it really does take next to nothing. This beautiful dusky pink colour, I'm just going to pull off a little bit. And I'm going to overlay it very quickly just on that. So, and you can pop this back in the template to do. But I'm just going to add this little bit of colour onto that centre. I'm going to be very quick with this. So I've got a little bit of colour in the centre there, just to create a contrast middle. One of the things you can do is shape these edges a little differently. So I'm going to bring it in at this point here and this point here, so it's going to create kind of a bumped edge, and I'm going to do that by just pointing my needle in, just to create a little indentation of where I want it. And I'm going to stab a little firmer just to create that definition. And then I'm going to do the same. Just there. And you can see now that we've got a very different edge just for a second or two. Like so. I'm going to do that on the other side. So now we've got this kind of scalloped edge. You can take your colour again and enhance that, bring in some stripes from those points. You know, there's lots of things that you can do. Obviously decorating it is however your imagination sees it. So with the kind of ruffled edge there, it's looking a little more perhaps like a ruffled sweet wrapper. You can obviously decorate it to mimic various sweets and things. But I'm going to turn this into a little creature. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to condense this middle section, this middle ball. And there's no hard and fast rule about how to do this. I'm going to turn it up on its end and stab downwards just a little bit on each side, so it's almost creating a fold. Now I'm stabbing enough for the needle to go through this half into this half, but not into my surface. Around the edges like so, and where this part kind of comes back in, just going to go across there a little bit. Now if we open that up, hopefully some of you will see the little butterfly that we've created. And then we're back to refinement. So we're going to do this a little more. I'm really going to work this body area. Turn it over. Open it up. And you can obviously decorate these wings however you like. I've got some beads here. You know, perhaps we can use a little bead as a head. So maybe glue that on or stitch it on. Put a little brooch pin on the back, and we've got a little brooch. Maybe make half a dozen or so, and you can make a gorgeous sort of hanging mobile. Dot them around in fake plants. There are so many uses. I'm going to stop fiddling. I hope that has given you some ideas, some inspiration. These are all from the Steampunk #1 set. And here, a very good friend of mine has added this little face, some curly locks. So don't just think of them as what they are. think beyond, more than the sum of the parts, things that you can add, things that you can do, things that you can make. And again, we've got the baubles and balloons set, which will be coming out very soon. And I'll bring the little sample I made. You can see that this one has gone, let's get down here, beyond. So it fits in, but what I've done is come out and domed the sections so that it looks like a balloon. You can do different colours. Again, hang them on a mobile. It goes on. I would be delighted if anybody sent me any pictures of makes and things that they have done. All of these templates are going to do is give you a really good, consistent base for your imagination to run wild with. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Thank you very much for joining me, and I wish you all a very crafty day.